Hello, welcome back to tutorial. Thank you for supporting me. For those that have subscribed, I really appreciate you guys. Those that are yet to subscribe, please subscribe to support me. So today we are going to learn how to make this school bag. Let's get started. Okay, let me just give you a rundown of the material we are going to use for this tutorial. I've cut out the lead already, but I will explain to you the sizes that I used and also the work of all this pink color here. Okay, for the front leather pattern, I'm using this. To start with, I'm using taffeta leather for this tutorial. So for the front, this is for the front. If you look at these two leathers, one is longer. So this long one is for the back and the short one is for the front. So for the front, I'm using 10 inches by 18 inches. While for the back, I'm using 10 inches by 21 inches. Then for the two sides, I'm using 5 inches by 15 inches, and I have two pieces. Then the pocket for this side, if you look at that bag very well, it has a pocket attached here. So this is the pocket. So for this pocket, I'm using 3.5 inches by 7.5 inches, and I have two for the two sides. Now for the front, what the pocket on the front, there is a leather attached to it, silver color leather. I don't have silver, I don't have white. I want to make use of this pink for that. So this is it. And for this one, I have 7 inches. This is 7 inches by 1.5 inches. I have two pieces, because one will be here and one will be somewhere here on the front pocket. That's for these two pieces. So this I have here is 1.75 inches. From this 1.75 inches, I will cut out my handle for the cover. On top of the cover, you will see a handle, short handle there. I will cut it out from here. Then the remaining one, I'm going to use it for the gusset of the pocket that will be here. So for that gusset, the width of the down is 1.75 inches, while the up is 1.25 inches, because I'm attaching zipper to the one at the up. So I'm using this pink for it. Then I'm using this pink also for the gusset of the side pocket. This side pocket, I'm also using the pink for the gusset, and the size I'm using for the down, the one down here, I'm using 1.5 inches for the gusset width. The length, I will measure all this, both the front pocket and this side pocket. I don't have the round measurements until when I shape it and measure it round, but I'm just telling you the width of the gusset I'm using. Then the length is the measurement I get here that will determine the length. So for this down here, the gusset I'll put down here, I'm using 1.5 inches, while the one I'll put up, I will use 1 inches, and I'm going to use this pink color. So now let's start shaping our work. Okay, for this side, I'm going to measure 2.5 inches here. This is 2.5 inches. Then here I'm taking 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches. So what I'm going to do now is just to give it a free hand curve to connect it together. Connect the points together. So this is what I have now. So I'm going to cut it out. So I will use this now to cut this second one. This is for the sides. Then for the front, I'm going from this up, I'm going to take 9 inches. I'm going to take 9 inches. So I'm going to connect it together to form a straight line. So at this point, I'm going to curve it with 1/2 inch. Or you can use your free hand, 1/2 inch here. What I will do, I will curve one side, I will use it to cut this side so that it will be equal. So I will just use my free hand, make sure that it gets to that 1/2 inch. I've curved it, so I'm going to cut it out now. Just cut it out from here this way. Then continue with my cutting. So this is for the cover, but I'm not going to use this. So I'm going to cut this out on pink. I'm using pink for this, but I'm not going to throw this away. I'm going to use this for my front pocket. This front, and I'm going to use this pink material for it. As I placed it on it this way, I will just cut exactly the size of the black leather. Then when I'm done cutting it out on that pink, I'm going to reduce the size of that pink with 1/2 inch by the sides all round. This will enable it to fit in very well when I fix my zipper. You know that when you put the zipper, it will expand. So if you don't reduce it, it will be bigger than the opening. Or you can as well measure 3 inches by the 2 sides, fold it into 2 and shape and sew it with 1/4 inch. That will also, you know, when you fold it into 2 and sew 1/4, that means you have reduced by 1/2. That will also help to reduce it. Make sure you reduce that cover. It's either you reduce it by removing 1/2 inch round, or you fold it into 2 and sew it by 1/4. Like I said earlier, that I will be using this to cut out the front pocket. So for the front pocket, the width I'm using is 8.5 inches, while the length is 7 inches. So I'm going to cut it out now. So I'll use this side that is already shaped. I'll use it to shape. Yeah. So this is what I have for my pocket now. So I'm going to get the two. I'm cutting 2 pieces like I said. What I'm going to do, I'll get the 2 and put it together this way. I'm going to insert foam inside it, but the foam will not get to. I will leave like 2 inches here, 2 inches here. The foam will be at the center. So I will tape it this way and this way. That's what I'm going to do for the handle now. Then for this, when I'm done sewing the handle, we will attach it here before we pipe it. I've sewn the handle to my cover. Now I'm going to pipe it. I'm going to pipe it with my cord. So this is my cord now. This is the curved side. So I'm starting my piping from here. I will pipe it round till I get to this end. And before I pipe it, I'm going to cut out my lining so that I will sew the lining with the piping together. Exactly the size of this. I'll cut exactly this size of the lining. I'll put my lining first, my leather, then I will now put my cord and sew everything together. So this also, we are going to shape it. I'm going to put it together this way, fold it together like this, make sure it's equal, then you just give it a free hand shape. So this is what I have now. So I'll just put it this way, use it to shape so that it will be equal. I'm using it to shape this side because I want everything to be equal. Why this we are shaping only one side, we are not shaping this side, we shape only this side. See the way it is. So now let's get started. I'm going to this one that we shaped only the side, this one that we shaped the two sides is going to be here. In fact, is longer. I'm going to reduce the size. I reduced this size. It was exactly the size of this pocket. So what I have here now is 5 inches and quarter is what I have here now, but the width still remain 1.5. I didn't touch the width, it's just the length I reduced to 5 1/4 inches. Then this also I reduced the width to 1 inch. The length is still okay, but the width I reduced it to 1 inch. It's no longer 1.5, so take note of that. Okay, now I'm going to top stitch this on the pocket. So from this side I'm going in by 1 1/4 inches, 1 1/4, that's 1.025. so that's where I'll put it. And from up here I left 3/4 inches from up. I left from here to here is 3/4 inches, while down here I have 1 inch. So what I'm going to do now is, as I from this measurement I took here, I took 1 1/4 inches here. I will place this here and top stitch it round here. Then this one also I will notch the center midpoint. I will notch the mid of this. As I'm doing, I'm notching it this way. I've notched it, so I'm going to notch this also. So what I'm going to do here now is I'll bring the two notch points together, make sure that they are equal, then I stitch it down. I top stitch it on this. That's what I'm going to do first. Okay, this is what I have now after sewing it. This is what I have. I've sewn it. Then this, now that I've sewn it, remember we used 1 1/2 inches here. You can see it 1 1/2 inches. So I'm going to do Middle of 1.5 inches will be 3/4 inches. I'm going to take note of the mid, 3/4 inches. So I'm going to connect it now as a straight line. So this is it. Now on each side of this line, I'm taking 1/4 inch on each side, 1/4 inch. So this is the 1/4 inch. I'll also turn it to straight lines. So this is what I do now. I'm going to cut the middle line. I'm going to cut it open. Fold it equal. Make sure that it's equal. Make sure that it is equal before you cut. Make sure that it is equal before you cut. So I'll cut it. I have like 1/4 inch to this line here, I will make a V shape. This is the V shape I'm talking of. I'll also do the same on this side. So this is it. This is what I have now. I'll keep it aside. Okay, now I'm going to cut a lining for it. Okay, I've cut my lining. So I'm going to turn it like this. My lining is going to be on the right side. This line that I drew here, you can as well draw it at the back side so that it can help you to sew. But me, I know where to sew. So now I'm going to sew by 1/4 inch this way, this way, this way, and this way. That's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to use pink thread to sew so that you will see what I just did here now. So this is what I have after sewing it now. You see it. So I'm still going to cut my lining. I'll still fold it this way to cut my lining open. The same way I did on the leather is what I'm going to do now. Exactly what I did on the leather. You can as well leave the leather and cut everything at once. So now we are going to, you know that the lining is on the right side. It's on the right side before I sewed it. Now I'm going to push it to the wrong side. Push it in this way. So when you push it in, you push it also with this allowance here. Make sure you fold it in so that the lining will not be showing. If you cannot do it, you can top stitch on it first before you see it. You fold it in this way so that your lining will not be showing. push it in. If you cannot sew it with the zipper at once, you can top stitch on it first before you sew your zipper. So this is it. Push it in. Make sure your lining is not showing. Make sure that the lining will not be showing. So now I'm going to sew my zipper here. This is my zipper. I've already fixed my zip head to it. You just put it inside here. Make sure your lining is not showing. Make sure that you have excess allowance of zipper here. Just put it this way. Centralize it here. Push your lining inside and sew. But make sure that your lining is not showing. Then you sew your zipper here. That's what I'm going to do now. So this is what I have now after sewing my zipper. So this is the lining. So I'm going to push the lining. I forgot to tell you, I left from here to here, I left ½ inch before I put my lining. And as you can see, my lining is longer than my leather. If you want your pocket to be bigger, you extend the size of your lining. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to move this lining up this way. Then I'm going to sew it. When you are sewing, don't sew with your leather. Just pick only the lining like this. Sew it this way, and this way. This is to create pocket for this zipper here. So I want to shape the sides now. I'm using this. I'll use this to shape it now. I'm going to do it in all. But once I'm done with this, I can use this to shape the second one. Or you can shape one side and use it to shape the remaining one, to cut out the remaining ones. So now I'm cutting out what I just marked. So I've shaped it now. This is what I have for the side pocket. So I'm using this. I will use this now to shape this one. Okay, I'm done. I've also cut out lining for all my patterns. This is for the sides. As it is like this, I'm going to also pipe it round with my cord. I'll put lining, leather, then my pipe. I'll pipe it round for the two sides. These are the two lining. I'll pipe it round. Then this also, I will pipe it round. I'll put my lining. I will also pipe it round. Then the back, I'm putting foam on the back. I've cut out the foam. The foam is less with 1 inch at the width and also at the length. So you know, I have 10 inches for my width, so the foam I have 9 inches. The length of the back I have 21 inches, and in the foam I have 20 inches. So I've also cut lining for it. I will sew the three. That's I put my lining, my foam, my leather, then I will sew it round. I'm not piping the back. Then this, I'm going to put it, this is my wrong side. I will turn it wrong. The right side of my leather will face the right side of my lining. I'll put it this way, then I will stitch it this way. I want to turn it with lining, so I'm going to sew this way. When I'm finished sewing, we will notch it and turn it. I will show you how to turn it. This is the lining I cut for the two. I have for the two bag. I'll put it this way, put it this way. I will also pipe it round together with the lining. I pipe it round. Okay, so as you can see, I'm done piping everything. I added foam. You can see I added foam enough like this. Now there's foam inside, so I have not closed this because I want to show you that I added foam before I will close it. So I added foam in all. It's only the two sides that I did not add foam, but all this I added foam, and I'm also going to add foam to the back. So now I'm going to put my logo. So I'm going to put my logo. I will go up with like, so to put my logo, I went up from where my piping cord started. I went in by 2 inches. This is my 2 inches line here. So on that line, I'm going to get the midpoint. I have 10 inches here. That means the mid is 5 inches, which is here. So that's where I'm going to put my logo. So this is the logo. I'm going to centralize it on this place. On this point, I'll just centralize it. I'm trying to get the point I will puncture. So I've gotten it now. So now I'm going to punch. Please, when you are opening it up, be careful not to open it too much. So I'm going to put my logo here now. So I've fixed my logo now. This is my logo. So I can now close up this side. Then when I'm done closing it up, I will fix my zipper. I'm going to fix my zipper in here. This is the right side of my zipper. It will face the right side of my cord. This way. Please leave like 1 inch. If you're a beginner, leave allowance for the zipper. So I'm going to sew my zipper around this way till I get to this side. I will stop. That's for this one. So for this, I'm going to measure it round to know what I have. So I'm starting my measurement from here. I measure it round. So I have 28 inches. So you will decide where you want your zipper to get to. So I want my zipper to come down very well. So I want my zipper to be like 15 inches. So 28 minus 15 will be 13. That means my upper gusset will be 15 inches. I'll add half inch for sewing allowance. The down gusset will be 13 inches. I will add half inch for sewing allowance. So that's what I'm going to do. Remember, I told you that the upper gusset is smaller than the down gusset. So I'm going to cut out 15 and a half now for my upper gusset. This is my upper gusset. I will cut lining for it. I'm also going to sew my zipper to it. This is the one that will carry my zipper. I'll put it, my zipper right side facing each other. I will sew it down. When I put it like this, I'll put my lining under this way. I will sew it down. I will turn it and top stitch. That's what I'm doing to this. Then for this one now, I'm also going to measure it round. So I'm going to measure it round. I have 19¼ inches. I will also decide where I want my zipper to be. I want my zipper to come down very well. So I want my zipper to be 12 inches. That means I'm cutting, the gusset I'm cutting for my zipper will be 12½. The half is for sewing allowance. So 19¼ I remove 12 inches is going to remain 7¼ so the down will be 7¼ plus I will add ½ inch to it, that will be 7¾ inches. So I'm cutting the gusset for the down now. This is the down gusset for this down gusset. So I will do the same way I will sew this is the same way I will sew the sides. I will sew the zipper and the lining. I will turn it and top stitch. Okay, I'm done sewing it. You can see I also top stitched it. So what I'm going to do next is I will bring the down gusset. I will match it right side facing each other. You can see it's equal now. You see it's equal, right side facing each other. I will bring the lining. The right side, if your lining has wrong side and right side, the right side should face the zipper side this way. So what I'm going to do, I will sew it this way, turn it and top stitch. I will also do the same thing. I will bring the two together this way and sew it and top stitch. That's what I will do to this and also this. See it, I'm done joining both the up and the down gusset together. I've also stitched it round. So the next thing I'm going to do, if you look at this zipper side, this side that the leather is, I'm going to fold it in and stitch it down, because that's the place I'm going to attach to the bag. I will stitch it down. I will do same to this and also to this. So you can see this is the front and body. I've sewn my lining to it because I want to use lining to turn it. I don't want to tape it. So but before I turn it, I have to sew this to it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the middle of this, which is here. I've notched it. This is the middle line. I've as well folded it. So if I open it, you will see the crease line. So I will also get the middle of this one. So this is the middle of this one. So I want this top stitching to start from here. I'll go up with 1¼ inches. 1¼ is not up to 1½, 1¼ So the top stitching of this pocket will be from this point. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, because I want to get a line that will guide me on where to top stitch it. So I will just paint my cord with my chalk after I will clean it up. If you are not using cord, when you are done cutting this leather, you trace it on your body. But because I'm using cord, that's why I like doing it like this. But if you have any other way that you will do it and it works for you, you do it that way also. So now that I'm done doing this, I will try to match the middle lines together, place it here this way. So when you do it, you see the space you have here and the space you have on this side has to be equal. It has to be equal. I have 3/4 inches here. I also have 3/4 inches here. So now that this space is equal, what I will do, now that I've placed this, what I will do is I will heat it up. I will heat it, push it down. I want it to be exactly on that line. So now I can just press it down this way. This will be a guideline for me to know where I will top stitch my pocket. You see it? You see it? You see the line now? So this is the line. Have you seen it? So now I'm going to sew my gusset to this. Now that I've done this, I'll keep this aside. I'm done joining my gusset. I've also taped it round. So now I'm going to turn it to the right side now. So this is what I have now. So I'll bring this. As usual, we get our midpoint. Both up and down. So I'm going to top stitch it. Watch me. This line, you remember this crease line is my midpoint, so I'll match my two midpoints together here. I will also match it down here. Then I will not top stitch it round on this. For the side, I will also do the same thing and top stitch it round. So as you can see, I'm done top stitching it on the body of the bag. This is the two sides. This is the front. So now I want to trim the excess lining I have here now. I'm going to give it a notch, slight notch, so that you will not cut through your thread. This is to enable me turn it. Be careful when you are doing this so that you will not cut through your thread. Just small notch. Now I'll turn it. This is what I have now after turning it. So now I'm going to stitch my lining down round. So I'm done stitching it by the side. Now I'm going to trim the excess lining out. So I've trimmed off the excess lining. See our shaping is still there. I hope you can see the curve, the shaping. So now see this side. I didn't want to tape it, that's why I did it this way. So now we're going to sew the line, the zipper to it. I've already sewed zip here, and I also taped it round. So now I'm going, while the zip is here, I'm going to indicate the midpoint here now. So I'll do it this way to get my midpoint of the zipper. I want to use chalk. So I want to use chalk to mark the midpoint. So this is my midpoint. See the way I marked it, it entered my leather. It's my midpoint. If I fold it this way also, so now that I've marked the midpoint, I'm going to open up this zipper this way. I'll keep this aside. I'll bring this and also mark the midpoint of this. Make sure it's equal, the two sides are equal. So this is my midpoint. I hope you are seeing what I'm doing. Make sure that it's equal. I also indicate the midpoint. I'll open it up this way. So I will bring my zipper. Right side of the zipper will face this. I'll make sure that the two midpoints are together. So I'm going to sew it, then I'll start from here and sew it till this point. That's what I'm going to do now. So I'm done sewing my zipper. This is my zipper now. So now I'm going to fix my zip head to it. So I'll start from one side. Make sure that it's equal. Make sure it's equal before you fix. This is now the front. Look at the chalk, the marking, the chalk. It matched together. So now we are going to join it together with the back. Okay, now we are going to work on the back. So I'm going to fold my back this way to get my midpoint. This is my midpoint now. So I'm going to sew. I've already prepared my handle. I did it off camera. I don't need to make video of this. But for those that don't know how to do it, you can watch my previous videos. You will get to know how to do it. So I'll sew it here. I'll give 1/2 inch allowance here, or I can close it up or any, but I'm going to give 1/2 inch on both sides. Then I will stitch it here. Then for the side belts, this belt, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my back, my side measurement. So this is my side pattern now. So I'm going to measure from this point till this point. I'll measure from here to here. It gave me 14 3/4 inches. So I will come here and measure 14 3/4 inches here. So I'll measure it here. I will also measure it on this side. I'm going to turn it as a straight line. So this is my back, this is the base. So for this belt now, I will go up with 1 inch before I sew my belt here. I will do the same here. I'll go up with 1 inch from this point, from this line. I'll go up with 1 inch before I sew my belt here. Then I will sew this one here. So that's what I'm going to do to this back now. Okay, I'm done sewing my handle. This is what I have now. So I'm going to sew my lining. So what I'm going to do now is I'll sew my lining this way, and this way. I will also sew on this line. So I will insert my foam from here and here. I will stitch on this line. I will not close here. I will sew from here, this way, this way, this way. Then I will stitch here. Then I will insert my foam. After inserting my foam, I will close up this side. So I have stitched it. See, this is where I will insert my foam. So I'm going to insert my foam now. So I will now stitch here, close. Okay, I'm done sewing everything, closing it up. So now we are going to join our bags. So this is where the handle is at the upper back, and we are going to attach it here. So I'll put it this way, right side facing each other. Then we'll sew. Arrange it very well and sew. That's what I'm going to do here now. Arrange it and sew it down. Okay, I'm done joining it. This is where I joined it, and I also tape it. You have to tape your work so that your work will be neat. So now we are going to join it again at this side. But before we join it here, we have to check our work to be sure that we are on the good track. So first you have to measure around the side. It's the side that will determine just $36.5. This is where I started on this joining. $36.5 is what my side gave me. And let's measure our body. My body is giving me 37 3/4. So I have 1 1/4 inch excess. So remember our measurement is 36.5 for the side. So I'm going to make it 37. That ½ inch is for the joining. So the remaining 3/4 inches, I'm going to cut it off. But before I cut it off, let me mark my 37. This is where. So here I have 3/4 inch. I'll measure 3/4 inches here. So I'm going to connect it as a straight line. Before I trim it off, I will first run a stitch on it. I'll first run a stitch here. Before I trim it off, I'll run a stitch here. You can see I've run a stitch on it, then I can now cut it off. Be careful not to cut on your stitch line. So this is what I have now. So now I'll bring this way, match it together, and sew it. When I'm done sewing it, I will also tape it. So I'm done stitching it. I'm going to tape it, but before I tape it, I want to be sure that my side and my body, the bag is equal. So this is the bag. The curve edge, this curve edge is going to face the front. So we will start it here. This is where it will start. This pointed place here will be at this stitch line. This stitch line is where your stitching will start. This stitch line here. Sorry. The stitch line up. You know we have two stitch lines, up and down. We are working with the up stitch line, this one here. So that is where you put your bag right side facing each other. Make sure that this pointed edge is at this stitch line here. So everything is equal now, so I can go ahead and top stitch here now, and then sew my side round. I'll put this one on this side and also on this side, and also sew it round. Okay guys, this is the bag now. I've turned it to the right side, though after sewing it I taped it round before turning it to the right side. I couldn't lay my hand on that particular clip. So if you have not yet subscribed, kindly do so to support me. See you in the next tutorial. Bye.